Mr. Dean, you had the first shot here. What do you think about preservation and maintaining the quality of life in the face of this growth?
I think the city's already working on a walking path. We have a beautiful river here and nothing's been done with it in 100 years. And I think when that walking path gets done, that will be a huge, and there's been several attempts to try to revitalize downtown. Rupert has a big advantage in having the square. That is a beautiful spot. We don't have that. And both of our main streets downtown are state highways, and the city has very little control over what you can and can't do with those. And I don't want to turn Burley into another Boise, but I think if we could grow 400 or 500 people a year for 10 or 15 years, I think that'd be ideal. And this is an outdoor area. We've got a lot of places. Burley does a good job with the parks. I live right across the street from Storyville Park. You know, when I moved there, it was like living next to a graveyard. There was nobody in that park ever. And now they've got that playground there, and it's full of kids all spring, and even days like today when it's not. It's great. And we've got a skateboard park. We're the recreation in Erica. When I was on the city council, we had a woman come in and complain about the hours of the swimming pool. She was from Declan. We had a woman come in and complain about the shape the ball fields were in. She was from Malta. We're the recreation area. There's a center for everything. And I think the citizens of Burley formed the recreation district, and I think they've already made a mark. They're building some bathrooms in Storyville Park. They're helping with
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Yeah, my father told me they're going to build that path on the third hole of the golf course. I don't know if that's been approved by the golf committee yet.
a lot more walkers.
That's very walking golf's a good walk ruin, they tell me. Mr. Dexter, you have thoughts about preserving the community in the face of growth?
I think we've had some pretty good projects through the Burley Area Action Team. We actually do focus on the youth. You can see that with the high school efforts, the ball fields out there, the soccer fields, and that's not just through the city council, but that's the area people. We also look at the Centennial Park. That is something that we are looking at trying to improve the aesthetics of Burley, flower pots, things like that. I think we're doing a pretty good job of getting there in the preservation of Burley, getting people to come back downtown and shop in that area.
Well, yeah, again, let me focus my question just a little bit for the rest of the folks. You have some spectacular buildings here downtown, like what Rupert has. And I'm wondering about the preservation of the downtown versus knocking it down and putting something new. Mr. Goulet, you got thoughts about that?
Well, I live in a school that was built in 1920, and I intend to keep it. So you can tell how I feel. I think that the character of the city needs to be the way it was. I was told, now I grew up in Jerome. I moved here again in 1996. I was told at one time in Burley that the downtown was vibrant. And I know in Jerome it was the same way. Jerome is not what it used to be. But I'm going to tell you this, downtown Burley's better than downtown Jerome. And so we have done better. We have. And so, no, don't tear them down. Let's preserve them. Let's give it character. Let's do things that will attract people. Again, see, if we all love our community, we will attract the things we want. And there can be the kind of attitude that needs to be. And we need to I don't know how to explain it, but, you know, this is not a complicated issue. And sometimes it appears like it can be, when it doesn't have to be. We will be professionals, I will be a professional, and we will act as so.
Mr. Hanson, I'm interested in you addressing that question with one caveat. I was struck a bit with your comment about the river. And when I think of quality of life, I think of the river and its potential. It's one of the 10 most polluted, overused rivers in North America. And I'm wondering about that in terms of preservation and quality of life.
I think preservation is the key word. I have a strong opinion that we should preserve access to the river, that there should be a green belt, of course, is very desirable, but we need access and we need to preserve the waterfront for public use as much as possible. It's very desirable real estate as time passes, and the temptation will be to just leave it to private individuals to own all the waterfront properties. But I think that the best use of the riverfront property is for public use, and I'd like to see that be the case from our riverfront park to our new park on the truck route that we need to name still. But that's a beautiful area of our city that could become a tremendous attraction for tourism. And I think if you watch the traffic on the river, you'll see that we have an amazing number of visitors. I spend a lot of time there. I've just been there twice on the water in just 10 days. And neither of the people that I was showing boats to were residents. And they're always amazed at the facilities and the quality of water that we have here. And my opinion is the water has cleaned up some since I've been using the river as an enthusiast and also for my business. It's more desirable. I think we'll just see that grow, the interest in that grow. We have a tremendous resource for recreation and enjoyment here, and like I say, preserve for public use.
Thank you. Mr. McGill?
Would you like to hear me give you my opinion about that, or the buildings downtown? Or
I'm interested in your thoughts on quality of life, preservation versus growth.
The interesting thing about preservation in the West, especially towns like that we have in Idaho, is it's so much less expensive to just buy new property and build out. You look at the East, and there's buildings that are hundreds of years old that continually be remodeled and restored, and I guess our property prices just aren't high enough to encourage that in downtown Burley. And it becomes an issue for a business owner for downtown Burley, whether because of the limited parking and because of the nature of business with box stores, whether the type of investment required to restore a building can actually be afforded. So that is kind of a problem. It's an issue that's not easily just to tell someone, yes, we're going to restore. The buildings is a lot easier said than done. The preservation of life, quality of life, is you would probably have to define the quality of life you want to have, and that would then dictate how much growth you want to see, because with growth, your quality of life will change, and it may not change in a direction that you're happy with. It can become such that you can't even control the quality of life, and you could find it degrading. So just to touch on those points, that's where I'm at.